Topping our news this morning, lawmakers intend to move forward with a plan that will not fund Trump's border wall. And a teacher is now on administrative leave after claims he inappropriately touched a student. Those stories and more. Your first half hour of Sunrise starts now.
You're watching Sunrise on WCBI.
President Trump is set to unveil his broad blueprint today to overhaul the nation's tax code. The development comes as Mr. Trump nears his 100th day in office, possibly averting a government shutdown, but potentially risking a trade war with Canada. Brooke Civil-Braga has the latest.
President Trump works to fulfill another campaign promise today, overhauling the tax code.
It will be simple, it will be easy, it will be fair.
Few details have been revealed, but the White House says the plan will slash corporate taxes, dropping the top rate from 35% to 15%, and include cuts for middle-income Americans.
The big questions are, how do you pay for this? Do you pay for it? Does it add to the deficit? And whether he'll package infrastructure spending with this, as he sort of floated, to try to go across the aisle and maybe get some Democratic votes.
And with the deadline to avert a government shutdown just 2 days away, Republican lawmakers are reportedly pressing ahead with a federal spending plan that does not include funding for Mr. Trump's long-promised border wall.
The fact that the wall is now off the table, Americans should breathe a huge sigh of relief.
President Trump stood by his commitment to strengthen the southern border Tuesday.
The wall's going to get built, and the wall is going to stop drugs.
Before addressing the northern border and his decision this week to slap a tariff of up to 24% on Canada's softwood lumber exports.
People don't realize Canada's been very rough on the United States.
Standing up for Canada's interests is what my job is, whether it's softwood or software.
Following a phone call with the president last night, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau called the tariff unfair.
President Trump is also expected to sign more executive orders today, including one aimed at minimizing the government's role in education and another reviewing the last two decades of presidential monument designations. Well, Mississippi lawmakers will be heading back to work in early June. Governor Phil Bryant announced today on Facebook a special session will start June 5th. It's been expected after lawmakers failed to pass budgets for the Mississippi Department of Transportation and the Attorney General's office.
There was a dispute about roads. There are a number of us who feel very strongly that we need to have a program to improve our roads and construct other roads. We've got a $25 billion asset, we're not maintaining it. That just doesn't make sense.
Look, there was some dialogue taking place back and forth about what is the appropriate amount of money to spend on transportation. The houses, the Senate and the House, could not come to terms of what we felt like was a proper amount. Look, there's been some discussion since then, and we'll come together in the end for the betterment of the people.
Bryant did not say how long the session would last. He did say he hopes the work is finished as soon as possible. Well, what was supposed to be a forum for Columbus mayoral candidates turned into a campaign stop for Mayor Robert Smith. MUW's College Democrats and Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated invited all 4 candidates to the event. But Democrats Sylvain McQueen and Carl Lee, as well as independent Montrell Coburn, were no-shows, leaving Smith with the floor. The mayor took questions from a moderator as well as the audience. He addressed a wide range of issues, from crime and infrastructure to nightlife and retail development. Time now to get a first look at our morning forecast. Here is meteorologist Jacob Dickey with the latest. Jacob, good morning.
Good morning to you. We've got a great start to the day. Satellite and radar showing nothing over northeast Mississippi and west Alabama, but we're going to be watching off to our western and see what these storms do as they approach us through tonight. Now, right now, temperatures are in the upper 50s to low 60s. It's comfortable outside. You don't need a jacket or a sweatshirt or anything like that. And we're going to warm up quite nicely today. But it's going to be windy as well. Notice through the day, these lines, those are south winds between 15 to 25 miles an hour, perhaps gusts up to 30. That's going to make things quite breezy through the day. We're going to get temperatures up into the mid-80s, though, under lots of sunshine, maybe even a couple 90s in the board. Not out of the question in the Golden Triangle, West Alabama, nice and warm as well. Now, tonight, things do look a little different. We start to get some thunderstorms that move through. Some of those could be strong. Will be the upper 50s as well. We think the main threats are going to be large hail and damaging winds, but we can't rule out an isolated tornado with that. We'll have more details on the storms tonight coming up later.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Well, there are new developments in a story we first brought you last week. Bruce High School teacher and coach Leroy Jordan Jr. is now on administrative leave. Jordan is accused of touching an 8th grade girl inappropriately. Last night, the Calhoun County School Board met for the first time since Jordan was arrested. However, the board did not address Jordan's case. The mother of the alleged victim was there at the meeting. She tried to address the situation with the board, but they would not let her speak. Board members say she was not scheduled to be on the agenda. We caught up with the superintendent to find out where the district currently stands on this situation.
The board was notified when this had happened, and so we took the proper procedures. Immediately we put the teacher under administrative leave like the law states. He hadn't been back to the schools, not coming back to school until the investigation is over. And so that's our statement now. We'll let the law take over and kind of see how it plays out.
Jordan waived his right to a probable cause hearing this past Friday. His case is now scheduled to go before a grand jury. Police in Pontotoc are searching for leads and suspects after an armed robbery at McDonald's. It was around 1:40 yesterday morning when police were called about an armed robbery at the Pontotoc McDonald's. Chief Randy Tudor says 3 employees in the restaurant say 2 black males wearing hoodies and bandanas over their faces came into the store with handguns. The suspects made the employees lie on the floor, with one of the suspects then going into the office where he stole an undisclosed amount of cash. 2 employees were put in a cooler, while a third was made to lie on the ground at gunpoint. Suspects left on foot, but the chief says video surveillance shows the 2 suspects getting into a white car on Coleman Lane.
There's no doubt that this wasn't a spur-of-the-moment thing, that there was some type of planning done by the suspects prior to the robbery. Just the witness statements, show us that there was a plan in place when this happened.
The chief says the getaway car was either a Ford Taurus or Mercury Sable. No one was hurt, but authorities need anyone with information to call and tell them what you know. Well, 2 men are facing a burglary charge after Tupelo police arrested them Sunday. Police say yesterday they arrested Stephen Lester and Zacchaeus Salias after they allegedly took items from an Enoch Avenue home Sunday morning. They say someone who lived at the home gave them a description of the 2 suspects. A judge set bond Monday. Police ask anyone with information to call Crime Stoppers at the number on your screen. The investigation is ongoing. Well, still to come, Jacob Dickey has a full look at your morning forecast. But first, we take a trip to Louisville to see how far the city has grown 3 years after a deadly tornado swept through. More local news after this.